Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ann Valdez. I live in Gravesend Houses in Coney Island. I've been there a long time, and I've also known Mr. Lander a very long time too. I'm also a member of Community Voices Heard, as well as a lot of other organizations, and I really would like everyone to understand that Brad Lander is not a typical politician who just wants a position. This is a man who's been involved in social justice for over 20 years. All right. He took the concern of the people, not just in his neighborhood, but in the adjoining neighborhoods, to say, wow, we have to do something to try and make change. And this is what he did as a controller, and I believe this is what he would do as a mayor. This is part of the reason why I fully endorse him and feel that he will be the best choice for New York City. Thank you, Mr. Landon.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, Ann. I really appreciate you coming out this morning. And I want to say I appreciate all our NYCHA resident leaders. Oh, Teresa's introducing me as well. All right, great. This is even better. Okay, sorry.
Okay. Do I need to pick it up? Okay, hello, my name is Teresa Davis. I live in Gowanus Houses. I represent Gowanus Houses. So with Brad with us, he helped secure over 200 and something plus $1 million for renovations of the apartments in Gowanus and Wyckoff. So that was a pivot thing that we fought for to make sure that the apartment repairs for the kitchens and bathrooms be done within those two developments because we were always looked over. But we had conversations and talks with him over 3 years, and he helped us secure that money. So we're great that he was there. And like she explained, he did help us with Gowanus Neighborhood Coalition for Justice. That's an organization that we work with, and he was always there for us. When we called on him, he came out, campaigned with us, helped us with things that we needed and everything. So yes, I do support him. Yes.
You want me to speak? So,
Introduce yourself.
okay, hi. So my name is Monica Underwood. I'm a community leader from Wyckoff Gardens. I'm a community leader from Wyckoff Gardens. So I've known Brad Landis for a long time. I am one of the founding members of the Gowanus Neighborhood Coalition for Justice. So I think it was I'm not sure, maybe 2019. They wanted to rezone our area. So we formed a coalition to tell them if they were going to rezone that they have to fix our homes, the NYCHA developments before they rezone. So we did a lot of work with that. We took over a city agency.
Yes, you did.
Okay, so we can get the money for Wyckoff and Gowanus. So basically, we've done a lot of work with Brad. He even started Fury, which is Families United for Racial and Economic Equality. Can't forget that.
Good memory.
Yes. So and I think he would make an excellent candidate for mayor because he's done a lot of work in NYCHA, and if he does, we are definitely going to hold you accountable. You know that.
Yes, you are.
Okay, you better have me on speed dial.
On speed dial. This is the accountable plan
Yeah.
for NYCHA.
Yeah, so we do a lot of work in our community, so we'll see. We'll see. We're happy, and we'll make sure that Brad is on top of it. Okay, you're welcome.
Here. Thank you, Monica. All right. Thank you, Ann. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Monica. And to all the other public housing resident leaders who are out here today in this cold weather. So I appreciate you for bundling up. Thank you for supporting me. I also want to acknowledge NYCHA Torres, who's the president of Smith Houses. And it was at her invitation that we're here today. She's also supporting me, but she's at a funeral this morning that got called. So we're thinking about her and the residents of Smith Houses. And we've got some other great leaders here: Brenda Temple, Beverly McFarland, Annette Tomlin, and you heard from Teresa and Monica. And I am so honored to be here today with these powerful NYCHA resident leaders to publicly reaffirm my commitment to fix NYCHA when I'm mayor, and to do it in powerful partnership with NYCHA resident leaders. That's what we mean when we say fix NYCHA, with NYCHA, for NYCHA. And that's the title of the plan that I'm releasing today. The plan we're releasing is of the residents, by the residents, and for the residents of the New York City Housing Authority. And that is the only way we could possibly get it done. Look, the challenges are big. Some have been growing for many, many years, like the $80 billion repair backlog that threatens the living conditions of everybody behind me and 500,000 other NYCHA residents. And some of the problems, sadly, are newer, like Donald Trump, who threatens to decimate funding for public housing across the country, including here in New York City. You can definitely boo him, so that's all right. Yeah, that's okay. Booing is all right. But I'm optimistic about NYCHA, and here is why. And you heard it in Monica saying, I'm proud to support Brad, and I'm going to hold him accountable. NYCHA residents, who are over 500,000 New Yorkers, bigger than the city of Miami, 1 in 17 New Yorkers, are some of the toughest, of the hardest working, of the most resilient New Yorkers that you will find anywhere. And they're an extraordinarily inspiring bunch. Their NYCHA resident leaders are the stewards of our deepest stock of affordable housing in New York City. They're the elders who have guided their communities through the darkest times. And NYCHA residents are also the families and young people who hold the promise of New York City's future. Let's remember the people who grew up in NYCHA developments include Whoopi Goldberg, Jay-Z, Nas, Sharon Jones, the Wayans brothers, Larry David, Rosie Perez, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, business CEO Ursula Burns and Howard Schultz, Sonia Sotomayor, and many more. So you know that the future brilliant artists, actors, and playwrights, political leaders, Supreme Court justices, business entrepreneurs, they are growing up in NYCHA developments right now, but we have to fix NYCHA and do right by them. And that's what we mean by fix NYCHA, with NYCHA, for NYCHA. And as you heard from several of the resident leaders this morning, I'm the right person to lead that fight. I've been working for 3 decades alongside residents like the ones who are here to preserve affordable housing and to build communities. As Teresa and Monica talked about, as a city council member, I made sure that NYCHA residents in Wyckoff Gardens and Gowanus houses, well, let's be clear, we made sure, because they started that organizing long before I got there. But when that rezoning came along with the opportunity to build 8,000 new homes, they said, you can't rezone till you fix our homes. And we teamed up together. They formed the Gowanus Coalition Neighborhood for Justice, and we built a partnership that said, there's an opportunity here to create a lot of new affordable housing, but we're only doing it if we win the $200 million necessary for a comprehensive modernization of Gowanus and Wyckoff houses. And together we got it done. That they are now starting their process of comprehensive modernization, even while remaining traditional Section 9 NYCHA public housing, one of the only places in the city where that's happening. That is work that we did together, and props to you, Teresa and Monica, and every resident who fought for it. As controller, I decided that the people who know the most about NYCHA's problems should be the ones to help solve them. And so for the first time ever, I convened a NYCHA resident audit committee, and several of its members are here today, so that they would decide what we audited and where our oversight looked and how we would fix problems. So we went out to developments across the city. We surveyed 1,000 residents, and then the 25 residents that NYCHA resident audit committee sat down together and decided what we would audit and how we would make real improvements. And for the first audit, residents pointed us to the repair vendors who come into the homes of NYCHA residents. And the resident said to me, hey, you know what, half the time they don't get the thing fixed. Maybe they don't even show up at all, or if they do, they leave the job half done. So the mold is not removed, or the leak is not fixed, or the broken stove or toilet is still sitting there. Why are we paying for that? And yet those same vendors, they said, seem to get the work over and over and again. And so we did the audit, and sure enough, 44% of the invoices our auditors looked at had no backup documentation, no evidence the work was done, even though we paid for it, and there's no system of evaluation or oversight. So we came back to the residents and they said, thank you for the data that proves, what we knew from our own lived experience. Now, what are we going to do about it? And together we came up with a solution, because residents said, look, it's not so hard to rate your Uber driver or rate a restaurant with a Yelp review. We need to be able to do the same for our repair vendors. And so we mocked up the app Yelp for NYCHA repairs. And when I'm mayor, after work is done or supposed to have been done in a NYCHA resident's apartment, before they get paid, NYCHA resident, the tenant in that unit, will get a text or an email that gives them the opportunity to comment on the work. Just simple 1 to 5. They came when they said they would. They were polite, yes or no, and they did the work, yes or no. And if they didn't do the work, then we're not going to pay them, because we can't be using taxpayer dollars when the work is not done. And then the feedback from those NYCHA residents will make up vendor scorecards, and very quickly we'll know which vendors are good and which vendors are bad. We'll keep hiring the ones that do the work and do it well and respect NYCHA residents, and we'll stop hiring the ones that don't do the work. And that'll save taxpayer money, that'll deliver repairs that NYCHA residents deserve, and it'll restore trust in government. And again, that is what we mean when we say fix NYCHA, with NYCHA, for NYCHA. And that's the whole plan I'm releasing today, which I won't go into all of, but you can read in the Fix NYCHA, with NYCHA, for NYCHA. Just a couple more highlights though. First, I am going to triple the city capital spending on housing, affordable housing in New York City. So we have the resources to renovate tens of thousands of NYCHA apartments. Resident voices will lead in the choice of the pathway to do that. We'll offer residents all the pathways that there are, whether that's a comprehensive modernization like we did at Gowanus and Wyckoff, whether that's the trust, whether that's infill, whether that's RAD PAC. But in every case, before there is a change in status for management or governance or ownership of any NYCHA resident, a majority of residents of that development have to vote for it. So resident voice will make the decisions, fix NYCHA, with NYCHA, for NYCHA. And this plan is not only about housing conditions, because of course residents care about safety in their communities and they care about economic mobility for their residents. So the plan also will make NYCHA development safer by modernizing CompStat and NSTANT for NYCHA developments. We'll expand the MAP program, which Steve Levin made sure we brought to Gowanus and Wyckoff, and some of you have. That has been proven to reduce felonies 7.5% in the developments where it takes place. Let's make sure it's in more developments. And we'll invest in lighting and public space upgrades that make the NYCHA campuses like this one safer. We'll create more pathways for economic mobility by strengthening Section 3 requirements, so residents get the jobs on work that takes place in developments, especially in new fields like green jobs and modernization of the buildings. And we'll make sure that every NYCHA youth who wants a summer youth employment program job gets one. So young people get pathways to the future. And last but not least, I will focus alongside these residents like a laser on quality of life problems, like addressing NYCHA's rat problem. How many of you have rat problems in your development? All right. By modernizing waste management and scaling up proven rat abatement programs like the 150 developments that aren't in the rat mitigation program currently. Now, there are some other candidates in this race that have made lots of promises to NYCHA residents, but failed to deliver on them. As governor, Andrew Cuomo visited NYCHA a lot at election time and then turned his back on NYCHA residents during budget time. He promised for years to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in NYCHA that never came. even as residents went up to Albany time and time again. We don't need the leaders of the past who only cared about themselves and who view NYCHA residents as pawns. We need leaders who have stood shoulder to shoulder with NYCHA residents, who view NYCHA residents as partners, and who deliver on their promises. And you don't have to take it from me. I'm proud to release this plan alongside these residents who can speak to the work that we have done together and the confidence they have we'll keep doing it in the future. That is what we mean when we say fix NYCHA, with NYCHA, for NYCHA. Let's say it together. Fix NYCHA, with NYCHA, for NYCHA. Thank you guys very much. Thanks to all the residents here. I am really grateful to every one of you. Thank you guys so much. Great. All right.
Thank you guys.
All right. Thank you.